We have had quite a few questions through the chat, so I'm going to go directly into there. I do think, I do want to highlight a couple of things from what Carolyn said that I think are really important in terms of, sustainability and long-term action. And one is about the importance of modeling. Like people need examples of change. They need to see it in action. They need to understand what would this look like if I was to do it. And so, starting with one department that can model something from other departments, that can be really a powerful tool. And also another powerful tool from a sustainability perspective, even though we're working on quite short initiatives, is engaging civil society organizations as partners with governments, and that they can help to generate that ongoing, all these initiatives were started with a demand-based request from the national government entity. But in order to help the national government entity to continue to act after the TA is provided, having civil society organizations also demanding, that this action be implemented, that this work continue, I think can be a powerful tool for sustaining change. So I think that I want to go back. We had a question early on from Emmanuel Trepanier, who was raising the point that, technical assistance is a different kind of approach in international development work compared to more traditional community development projects. There's different spheres of influence, different stakeholders, different timeframes, that kind of thing. And he's interested in knowing whether that changes the way that you conceive the gender impact that you can have as a technical assistance provider, and what kinds of practical implications does that have, or should that have, and how donors like Global Affairs Canada should review requests for technical assistance interventions, and how implementing partners like Alinea should define and monitor and measure gender equality results. So I'm going to ask if any of the panelists have a perspective on that question that was asked by Emmanuel. Tracy, go ahead.
Thanks. I couldn't find the little hand icon, so I'm using my own hand. Yeah, no, I think that's a fabulous question. I'm actually not sure if Emmanuel is here anymore in the room or if he had to go, but I think, first of all, the first point, if I'm understanding the question, is that I think gender equality is gender equality. I don't think it matters if we're doing community development or we're doing a technical assistance. There's inequality at the community level. There's inequalities within governments, within organizations, who we're working for and who we're working with. It's still about promoting gender equality. It's about identifying barriers. It's identifying what is preventing individuals from being the best person that they can be, and removing them, whether that's at the policy level, whether that's at the community level. It's really all about all the same thing, I think. The other thing that I just wanted to address is, he talks about how should we review proposals? How should Global Affairs Canada review proposals? And I think that's a really great question, because it really depends. Is it a unsolicited proposal, or is it one where Global Affairs Canada is asking for proposals to come forward? And I think you're going to need to take the step back before even reviewing the proposals. It's how those proposals are being received and how they're being asked for. For example, one of the things in the proposals that I've seen from Global Affairs Canada, they often have intermediate objective or outcomes already defined. Okay, intermediate outcomes are those that define the behavioral change that needs to happen. And one of the things that I've seen that's really challenging then is, in different contexts, there's different behaviors that need to change. And so how to take that solicited proposal and put it into the local context. Because if you're saying these are the behaviors that we want to change, and you're getting a proposal that's coming from Afghanistan and you're getting a proposal that's coming from Peru, they're going to be very different proposals. And maybe those behaviors that have been predefined aren't actually the correct ones. If it is an unsolicited proposal, you really need to look at, do they understand what is gender equality? Do they understand what is gender equity? Are they really striving to dismantle the current power structures that exist and achieve equality? Or is it about looking at how policy needs to think about treating people the same or treating people differently and really focusing on equity? So when you're reviewing the proposals, I think you have to understand the local context that this proposal is coming from, and then look at what is really trying to be achieved at that ultimate level, that real equality level, that dismantling of current power structures, the intermediate level about equity focused intervention. So understand the local context and understand what is trying to be achieved.
Thanks, Tracy. And I, just if we were thinking more about proposals for technical assistance, I think one of the key things that's important to consider in looking at in evaluating proposals for technical assistance is really what to focus on what's achievable and what's practical, and not recognizing that that the kind of work that technical assistance providers do, you're advising, you're providing advice that government entities then have to do something with. So there's a limited amount that can be done by a technical assistance provider. So to be able to really try and define what's achievable, and to ensure that the orientation is very practical rather than theoretical, because technical assistance is such a short-term time frame in relation to, as you noted, Emmanuel, to other development initiatives. There was a question from Sunita Bisan that I think I'm going to direct to Anne-Marie. She was asking about if human rights-based approaches in gender can also be used in relation to environmental governance, and what kinds of, what perspective would you give on that? Thanks.
I found the question quite interesting, I must say. I cannot say that I have seen very specific needs. So how are the environmental impacts? The environment impacts are different from woman and man. That's what the question is about. So having to go through this analysis when it comes to sustainable development in countries where we intervene, I didn't know that. But I wanted to go back on the topic pertaining to the importance of the participation of the external stakeholders in order to consult civil society, as Caroline spoke about. And that goes back to this question. And I know that in all the steps we do when we work on accountable procurement, when we talk about social environmental groups, the civil society actors, the economic actors who are concerned by the policy must be involved in the consultation, because we need how the procurement should allow to meet their reality, to cater for their needs. When we talk about accountable procurement, it is very important to consult everyone in Canada. We have accountable procurement measure that allows House of Quebec evolve when it comes to accountable procurement, and the consultation of the stakeholders is one of the important component, because if we don't consult the external internal stakeholders, we are missing information in order to see how to implement and develop policies. So it is even more as part of the work that we are doing with the Peruvian government, and in order to be able to implement the policies, if we don't consult the real economic actors regarding the potential that represents the procurement, we are missing a big chunk of information to see how we are going to structure what we do. But even our government stakeholders, the government stakeholders who want to raise awareness too, will miss information regarding the reality and to which they need to work in order to change the reality. That's what I wanted to say. That's a little bit kind of a countered response, to consult and to set in place consultation processes that are efficient, of the environment, social and economic stakeholders within the territory. And that's how we can identify the stakes and the impact that the policies can have in a different impacts on men and women. I don't have it for environment and sustainable procurement. Accountable procurement. Maybe my colleague Michelle has more information regarding the gender assessment. I don't know.
Thanks. You know, unfortunately we're running out of time, so I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to get through all of the questions that we had. I would like to encourage people to check in to the TAP EDM website, which Gabrielle will put up on the screen, I think at the end, and also please, if you can share your thoughts in using the Zoom poll that's just appeared. You can share your reactions to the webinar. But if people want to find out more, people were asking about whether we had more examples of how some of these things were being done with African governments. You can see all of the TAP EDM technical assistance initiatives are highlighted on our website, which is www.tap-pat.com. Is it .com or .ca? Sorry. And you'll be able to link things there. I would like specifically to give some thanks, first of all, to our panelists for sharing their experiences. And Gabrielle put the website .ca, the website, in the chat for me. Thank you. So check it out from there. I'd like to thank all the panelists for their thoughts today, and I would really like to thank, even beyond that, Global Affairs Canada for the project itself, Global Affairs Canada as the funder, and also the GAC and our colleagues at the Technical Assistance Partnership Hub did a lot of work to promote this webinar, and so did our colleagues and friends at the Canadian Network for Women's and Children's Health, CanWatch. So I'd like to offer thanks to both of those groups, and thanks to our interpreters today, Nouran Atmani and Jocelyn Marchand, who did a fantastic job to keep you all in the right language. And thanks to everybody for joining. We've had such a great group of registrants from around the world, and it's been really fantastic to have you here. And so please look at our website and follow TAP on social media. You can follow Alinea International on our socials as well. And please hope people were able to respond to the Zoom poll that came up. And with that, I think I'll just thank you all and encourage you to come again to participate in future events. We should have a future event to talk more about the challenges of some of this work, because that was a couple of questions around, how do you deal with some of these challenges, and I think that it is challenging work to provide technical assistance in a short-term context. I think we can have an important impact. I think we can really help governments because these are changes that they want to make. We can really help them to move the needle towards more gender equality, more social inclusion, consistently with the goals of Canada's Feminist International Assistance Policy. And we will continue at TAP EDM to try and do that. And I hope that you will continue to support us in this work. So thanks very much. I really appreciate everybody for joining today. Take care.